Hello, Ms. Prather, and today I'm going to go over the measures of central tendency, the increase or decrease problems. For this type of problem, you will need a TI calculator. You can either have one of these that I have, or you can also have one on the cell phone, and the app is called Wabbit, and you can pull it up, click it, and it looks the same as we used in the class. So either one would work, the cell phone or the TI calculator. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Before I get started with this problem, there's something very important that I want to do with my calculator, and that is make sure I clear my memory. Please note that when you're in class, students before you may have used the calculator. So you would like to clear the memory. So you are going to press second mem, 7 for reset. You can either do 1 all of the RAM or 2 default. So I'm going to do the 1 all RAM. I'm going to press 2 reset, and then you see my RAM cleared. Now I know my calculator memory is good to go. So therefore, when I start to enter my data, I do not have to worry about my calculator inaccurately calculating what I have typed into the calculator. So now I'm going to go ahead and get started with my problem. Put my calculator off to the side. If you've heard any of my videos before, you know that I like to highlight my problem as I go along. Here we go. The table shows the square footage of homes in the Chester Ridge Housing Department. So here are the names, and here's the total square footage of home. The Carters are moving into the neighborhood and are building a home whose area is 3,900 square feet, which is true if the Carters' home is included in the set of data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to highlight my problem, because I'm going to make sure that the work that I do is geared towards answering my question. Okay, so we know the Carters is moving to the house, to the neighborhood, and they have a home that is 3,900 square feet. That is my important data. So we want to figure out which is true. A says the mean decreases, B, the range decreases, C, the interquartile range decreases, D, the median increases. In order to figure out this information, I first have to figure out the measures of central tendency of the neighborhood before the Carters moved in. So what I'm going to do is take my calculator, clear that. I'm going to go to Stat, press Edit, Enter. L1, you may have L2, L3, whatever your first L is, you're going to enter what you see under the total square footage home. So that's 1900, 1800, 1750, 1750, 2050. Okay, so in order to find the mean, range, interquartile range, and median, I'm not going to create an equation. I just want to find the basic statistics. So I'm going to go back to Stat, go over to Calc, the one variation stats. I want to find the basic statistics. I repeat, I am not going to create a line. I want the statistics, so I'm going to press Enter. Make sure it's L1 because that's what I use. Go down to Calculate. And here I go. Now, as I have this information, all this information, I need to make sure I know my signs. And because I have 4 numbers I need to find based off of my problem, as I find these numbers, I'm going to write them down because I want this as the original data. So, the first one is the mean. X with the bar is the mean. Right now, the mean is 1850. So I'm going to write down 1850. And I'm going to draw a little arrow because I know when I add the Carters data in, it is going to change. Then it says the range decreases. So to go down to find range, remember range is your highest number minus your lowest number. So I'm going to write that down. So I have 2050 minus 1750, and I'm going to find that in a second. Your interquartile range, remember that is your Q3 minus your Q1. So I'm going to write that down too, because I'm going to need to go back and do some calculations. 1975 minus 1750. And then your median. Well, MED stands for median, and right now my median is 1800. Okay, so as we said earlier, I have to figure out what my range is. So 2050 minus 1750, that is 300. So my range before the Carter enters is 300, and then I have 1975 and 1750. 1975 minus 1750 is 225. So now I'm going to go back, make sure I have these arrows, circle this because this is my original. So this was all of the data prior to the Carters entering. So when the Carters entered the neighborhood, their new home changed the measure of central tendency data for the neighborhood, and that's what I'm going to want to find. So you have to think about it like this. The Carters are moving into the neighborhood. So when I go back to stat, and I go back to edit, I don't want to remove everybody else because they're not leaving the neighborhood. Therefore, all I want to do is add the 3,900. Okay? Remember, you go to stat, go over to calc. Again, we want the variation stats. We do not want the line read. We're not trying to create a line. We just want the statistics. I'm going to press enter. Still my L1 and calculate. Now, as you can see, my numbers have changed. X with the bar again is mean. So now my new mean is 2191. As I can see here, when the Carters were added into the neighborhood, my mean went from 1850 to 2191. Did my mean decrease? No. Therefore, A cannot be true. For my range, remember to scroll down. And your range, remember that's your max, your highest number minus your lowest number. So I have 3,900 minus 1,750, and that equals a number. And I'm also going to find my interquartile range. That would be 2050 minus 1,750. And that equals a number. And my median, which is very easy to see, 1,850. So I'm going to write that down. I cannot forget I have some calculations to do. 3,900 minus 1,750 is 2,150. 2,050 minus 1,750 is 300. I'm going to circle that so that way I don't get confused with these numbers. So let's continue checking our problem because we want to see which one is true. So the range decreases. Originally my range was 300. Now my range is 2150. So did that decrease? No. So that can't be true. My interquartile range decreases. First it was 225. Now it is 300. Did that decrease? No. So that finally brings me to my last one. My median increases. I can see that D is true because not only did I mark out A, B, and C, but I can support my reasoning because I can see that my median went from 1,800 to 1,850. It increased by 50. So therefore, D is my answer. I hope you found this video helpful.